What's the most tedious part about RPGs? Let me help you out. It's turn-based fighting, with an asterisk for the good games, of course. But for the majority of games, it sucks. Take Pokemon, for example. Once you learn the elemental matchups, your brain just turns off. Unless you're doing a challenge or going online, skill and strategy are considered optional. The most thinking I've had to do is trying to remember whether or not the opponent is weak to my moves. Thank goodness they made it easier in the newer games that they just flat out tell you what works and what doesn't. But wait, all of these complaints mean nothing, because the main appeal of these games is actually the environment. A good RPG creates a storyline that's so good that you'll put up with a bad combat system just so you can progress the story. In a really good RPG, you'll go out of your way to explore every corner and talk to every NPC because it's just that darn good. But you still got that turn-based combat. Now, what if we replaced that with some actual fun gameplay? You get a really good game. Now, you'll probably see this and think, this looks hard. And it is, but once you learn the attack patterns and the limits of your movement, things can only go uphill from there. You'll have to find some way to sneak in some hits until they lose their focus so you can, and then continue to bully them on the ground. In my experience, the boss was challenging but never felt overly unfair. It took me a couple of tries to adapt to the game's mechanics, but after that little hump, it was fun as all hell. And if you ever feel like adjusting the difficulty, you can use something called memories, which you can either remember your baby years to make the difficulty easier, or you can remember how much your life sucked so that you can even suck harder in the game as well. To find these memories, you need to search your surroundings, be a stickler for the details, trying to remember as much as possible. This allows collectibles to have some purpose, thus making them actually worth seeking, so more people will be incentivized to explore. In other games, they reward your collectibles with a pat on the back, and unless they're fun to find or you're a stupid completionist like me, no one's going out of their way to find them. But the problem arises with how the game should be played. If I don't want to tinker with the difficulty, that means I don't have to explore to get memories, and now I've skipped half of the available content. I hope that in some way they're able to integrate the story with these quests so that the characters won't be wasted. But this little town was a good change of pace from the rush of the combat and stops you from having your foot all the way down on the stress pedal. It also helps that every place is drawn with such care that you'll actually be looking forward to what new things to find. It inherits the spirit of the Earthbound series with its intriguing places and townies so much that they even had to censor your mother for copyright issues. Thanks, Nintendo. In my opinion, the best aspect about a story is the hook, the thing that makes you want to keep learning more about what's going on in this fictional world, and this is usually presented in the form of unanswered questions that linger until the end. Without a clear hook, you wander aimlessly and feel confused, and it's just a waste of your time, especially if it's advertised as story-driven. In this game, you're an amnesiac who kills a furry who turns out to be your brother and the guardian of your own town. Whoops. It's open-ended enough for theories to be crafted, and I think that's where a lot of the enjoyment can come from, and so now we just have to wait for more to come out. Oh what, you thought this was a finished release? Well, it's actually not. It's still in its funding phase on Indiegogo. While not being the most reputable site and this being the team's first ever game, I do put some trust in this project because of passion, the one thing that all indie games specialize in. Not only do you see it in the game, but the developers are active in their Discord community, and it's surprising to me at the least. Most developers just pump out a game and updates without actually interacting with the community whatsoever. At the time of recording and with a less of a month remaining, it is only 33% of the way funded, and it seems like it's not going to happen. On the contrary, the developers see it as a glass half full kind of situation and celebrate every small win, which is kind of rare for most developers nowadays. And with the effort and polish they are putting in to make this project work, I feel as if it's worth my investment, and I hope that this hidden gem can maximize its potential and become a hit. After all that, if you're still not interested, they have a gacha machine. It's not with anime girls or any useful items, but it's a gacha. Yep,